Beer with Pleasant Strangers, episode 15. All right, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Beer with Pleasant Strangers, except tonight I'm having beer with friends. I have Small Pour Sean and Craft Beer 007 with me tonight, and this was actually Sean's idea. He said, why don't we get together and shake it up and stout it out and have all those disgustingly tasty Mikkeller vanilla shake beers all side by side by side by side by side. So that's what we're doing.
That must have been a horrible idea.
I know. I was like, I had to sit there and think about it for a while before I was like, I don't know.
I think you texted me back within 5 seconds.
So that's what we got. Mikkeller vanilla shake. What is it? Beer Geek vanilla shake.
Well, so Beer Geek vanilla shake is just a stout with vanilla and coffee. And is there anything else to it?
Basically, no. I mean, I think they
Imperial
put
stout with coffee and vanilla.
They have secret ingredients that they import from Europe that are, secret from Mikkel's basement. The lichens that grow on his walls or something like that.
The ashes from the Holocaust.
The mildew from his shower. Secret ingredient. Now, actually, these are brewed here in San Diego. This is the first time they've ever brewed this particular beer in San Diego. They brewed it somewhere in Europe before this. I have no idea where.
I remember, because this is the one that we had that we swore was mislabeled.
Oh, we had a mislabeled one for sure, or we had a goofed up one. But San Diego is the now home of Mikkeller Brewing because, the original Beer Geek recipe, AleSmith helped them out with it.
Oh.
AleSmith helped them dial it all in, and it became like one of their most popular beers.
So
I'm going to go ahead and open batch one, as I affectionately refer to it.
So we're doing batch 1 and batch 2 side by side, correct?
Yes.
So that is...
I mean, I say batch 1. It's just the first can run. This is the one that sold out allegedly 4 or 5 different times because they put it on sale 4 or 5 different times at different amounts and limits and stuff like that.
So where's
this was the one that when I gave it to Sean, he broke down on the floor, cried a little bit and said, I wish I had more of this. And also because he found out that his wife really liked it, so she drank all the rest of them.
That is a true story, actually.
Sean, the bottom of the can for batch 2 says Master Shake on it, unless it's been smudged off. But it's also possible that since I don't think you had any left over because your wife probably drank them all, that I was the only one that had one left, so by process of elimination.
I actually just drank my last one of batch 1 a week before the other release.
Don't tell Maddie. Don't tell her.
Well, I drank it with her, so.
Oh, okay. All right, good. You done good.
Not in the doghouse.
What do you guys think? This is the first one.
Very strong coffee. The coffee flavor is really, it's good, strong, real coffee flavor. It's not it doesn't taste like some of those. Well, we kind of threw a hint of coffee in there.
It's like someone at the Frappuccino factory fell asleep while they were adding the chocolate part.
I'm going to open batch 2 at the same time so we can take sips side by side.
Do it.
It definitely has a nice coffee cold brew finish to it.
And one of the inspirations, I think, for having stout beer, we're doing this outside at nighttime in San Diego because it is now officially fall time. It is 75 degrees out here. It is cold fall weather, seasonal, the changing of the seasons.
Super cold.
Something that I always look forward to not ever seeing in San Diego.
It is 1717, or it is 1917 hours, and it is a brisk 74 degrees in San Diego.
Military metric time. Well, batch 2 is a marshmallow. It's way sweeter.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
I always enjoy the fact that a non-barrel aged beer in a can is 13%.
Yeah.
This batch 2, well, batch 1 is way more coffee, way less vanilla.
Oh.
I mean, that's what regular old Speedway is like, what, 12%? And it's just a coffee stout?
Batch 2 makes me want to go grab an FO.
Oh, well, I mean, I won't stop you if you go do that. I will.
Batch 2 is definitely vanilla forward compared to...
Oh, my gosh.
Definitely a big difference between the two, I think.
Huge.
I think they're stark difference, and I'm not sure if it's just extra time, because it's been, a couple months since the first release.
But I would have figured the coffee to fall off. like about the same rate as the vanilla.
Well,
This
I
is-
mean, and
this is a straight
that's a good
marshmallow.
question. The question is, what has it even fallen off? I don't know. You had your last batch one cam a few days ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
It tasted just like this.
Okay. Yeah, it
Wow.
seems like they dialed up, or it just seems sweeter.
Yeah.
Batch 2 seems a lot sweeter. So good.
I mean, who said marshmallow? Was
Joel.
was that you, Joel? That's a straight marshmallow.
Oh yeah, marshmallow cream in a cocking gun. I like how you're having the. No one can see this, but you see you're drinking this from a Duck Duck Goose Teku glass.
Yes.
Just seems like an interesting contrast there.
I mean,
This is barrel rested Duck Duck Goose. I
yeah. Well,
We-
this is 2016 Duck Duck Goose.
added some
A shadow of what it once was.
added some macerated Bing cherries and dried up chilies and let it just turn into this black goo.
Batch 1, it's significantly a less fluffy mouthfeel. I don't know if that has to do with the vanilla by itself and with the addition of it on, or with the increase in batch 2 that I can taste, but it feels significantly more, I would say, like, is astringent the word? Like, it's very much,
Yeah.
or more, like,
You talking about batch one?
yeah, batch 1 is much more akin to motor oil.
Yeah. Well, and it has a lot more. I almost wonder if they changed up the malt recipe or they changed up the type of, the ratios of the whatever sugars that they used in the beer for the yeast to eat.
Batch 2 is just
I don't really know.
way
We
sweeter.
know some people that work there. We'll have to get them to chime in sometime.
Weigh in. Well, my batch 2 happens to be in
In an FO glass.
small portions FO glass.
Batch 3.
Appropriate.
And then I have it also in my FO glass.
Oh, you got the batch 3 glasses, huh? They
Got 2.
They made the bold design choice this year to put batch 3 on the glass. Man, Number Crunch would go with these. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think we haven't
This is
enough
we're recording
alcohol in front of us.
we're recording this the day after Zwan's Day, and I'm happy to say that I didn't have like any dark beer at all on Zwan's Day. So this is perfect. This is like a perfect antithesis to what my body was subjected to.
Which was a mess of funk.
Just a mess of funk. Just a mess of
How'd this morning go?
funky funk. It was fine. It was great. This morning was fantastic. It was cold. It was so cold. Fall weather in San Diego.
No, it wasn't. Actually, yeah, it was kind of cold because I turned on my seat heater on my way to church this morning.
So this is probably, I mean, in my book, this is like the most I looked forward to a beer that's like this, like a vanilla stout, a pastry stout being released in San Diego. Like this is probably top of the heap for me, outside of a couple of the abnormal beers that happened over the year last year.
Well, which one of those had like vanilla in it?
M3 had vanilla
Oh,
in
M3.
it. I don't remember if All the Lights had it. All the Lights was the Nutella one.
Oh, All the Lights was pretty fantastic.
Pretty fantastic.
So, Mike,
Yes.
batch 1 or batch 2?
Definitely batch 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why?
Both. Well, mouthfeel, like you said, is fluffier. The vanilla was definitely more prominent and very tasty. I wouldn't kick either of them out of bed, but batch 2 would definitely be my preference for sure.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. Just batch 2 is very much like, for the same reasons that make FO amazing.
Yep.
Just fluffy, kind of a cloud on your tongue. Batch 1, I really, really appreciate how well done the coffee is. I think the coffee flavor on it is superior to batch 2, but just the way the mouthfeel and the vanilla sits on the tongue for batch 2 is it's a very stark difference, and I was quite surprised to see that difference, but it's clearly there.
Yeah. Do you guys anybody know the history of Vanilla Shake? I know the Beer Geek, probably goes back like, I don't know, probably almost 10 years now, maybe. Beer Geek for Mikkeller, like for really what put him on the map, made them kind of a household name. But I'm not sure how long it was after that they started making the vanilla ones, because in my head, I feel like the Vanilla Shakes are one of the earlier vanilla stout beers.
In my head, I think that's correct, because I remember kind of hearing about it before I heard about the other stuff. But then again, I've become more learned in the ways
more learned, more scholarly
of craft beer trades and famous beers at that time.
Craft beer trade. Would you trade for any of these? I mean, these are in your own backyard. What would you trade if you lived in Alabama? What would you trade for one of these beers?
Well,
what's in Alabama?
What could I get in Alabama?
I have no idea what's in Alabama.
I mean,
beer.
Anybody listening from Alabama, let us know.
There's probably some good beers in Alabama. Actually, Mike, you travel a lot. Craft Beer 007, you travel quite a bit, so you have breweries from far and wide.
But I don't know. I can't think of any beer I've ever had from Alabama, though. I certainly haven't traveled there at this point.
What's the beer? Abita. Well, they're
No,
from
that's
Louisiana.
That's Louisiana.
Oh, well, close.
What's that other brewery called? Incestual?
No, what is that? The one in Utah? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh,
No, that's the Polygamist.
Uinta, yes, Polygamous Porter. No, that wasn't Uinta. That was, but that is in Park City.
Actually, I have a bottle of that sitting in my closet. The Polygamist.
on a different note,
I share that with many.
It's been recent. I know this has been going on for a while, but it's been recent where some amazing stouts have been canned, not crowlered, but canned, and it's been pretty interesting to see some of the quality of stuff that's been canned. And I mean, I know in some of our tastings we've had some amazing 16-ounce can. The Alvarado Street anniversary one. That was amazing. Thanks to Magic Brews.
Yeah,
and of course some of the barrel aged stuff that Modern Times has put in a can has been pretty freaking amazing.
Oh, what was it? The bourbon barrel aged Coffee's Monsters Park.
Coffee Monsters Park. Nitro bourbon barrel aged. Yeah, that one, and the 12-ounce cans.
Yeah, I still have one of those.
Oh my god,
that was quite a standout. We drank that next to one of the Bourbon County coffees. We are living in the golden age of canned beer. It seems it has come full circle. But correct me if I'm wrong. We drank that next to like one of the Bourbon Barrel or the Bourbon County coffees. Yes, we did. And the 2016 Bourbon County coffee. The Modern Times just blew it out of the water. There wasn't even close to a comparison between the two. Yeah. Well, those bourbon counties are something like, it's kind of like being stuck in a jungle in quicksand. You're just slowly being sucked under, and you can't escape from all the cloying, oppressive sugariness of some of those beers. It's just like, are you complaining about those? It's just like pit sweat and all this stuff that you get when you have those beers. So would you decline a trip in the pit sweat? No, just Modern Times. Those Modern Times swoop in like Indiana Jones, just on a vine branch going overhead, and you're like, oh man, that's what I want. Is that because Indiana Jones is such a hunk to you? He is such a hunk. Actually, that'd be more like Tarzan, maybe. The Disney one though, not the one with Stellan Skarsgård's CGI pectoral son from True Blood or whatever. Or would it be Han Solo? Ooh, Han Solo. Well, it could be Han Solo. Han Solo. Yeah. Going over the Millennium Falcon. Oh. Shall we move on to what's next? Yeah, what is next? We're gonna. I think we're gonna have to go to smaller pours from here on out. Oh, dude, I'm still good. Well, yeah. Let's pivot to what's next. Let's pivot to the maple ones. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Perfect timing, and we're back. This time we have a trio of maple beers. We're taking a little perpendicular approach here. We have, so two of these are from Mikkeller, and one of them is a little wild card that I decided to bring and throw in here tonight just to see how it stacked up.
It's a collaboration from Pure Project and Abnormal that they came out with a little earlier this year in cans. It's a stout. It's called Carpe Noctem. Seize the Night. That's an imperial stout with bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, cacao nibs, and hazelnuts. So that's gonna be the first one we're gonna crack. So that's the first one, Carpe Noctem. The second beer is gonna be from Mikkeller, San Diego. It was a one-off. They didn't package it or can it or bottle it or anything, but they did offer it for take home in unlabeled cans to certain special folks, and then to crowlers. And it's called Traeblod, Traeblod, and it is a imperial stout with coffee and maple.
Can I just say the
syrup.
Carpe Noctem is
Scarpe Noctem?
It's not good at all.
I can describe the look on Sean's face right now. You can't see it, but it is one of just puckered disgust. His eyebrows are furrowed. His lips are turned down in a very exaggerated frown, and he is not
bitterness of an
not into
IPA thrown in with what's supposed to. What does this have? Does this have coffee in it? Like it tastes like.
It does not actually have coffee in it.
No.
It has.
It tastes like
Imperial
Folgers.
stout with bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, cacao nibs, and hazelnuts.
It's the hazelnuts that you're probably getting that coffee.
Yeah,
that weird coffee like aftertaste, after flavor kind of from that and the malt. I'm guessing.
maybe I don't know. Well, it tastes brutal.
Full disclosure, I had this beer like the day it was released from a can. The day it was released, and I was not a fan at all. And this has gotten a lot better than it was when I had it that day.
Well, this is not good. So I can't even
agree.
imagine what it tasted like the day of.
But this is more drinkable than it was.
It has an average of 3.86.
Yep, almost
Untapped.
San Diego homers. Yeah.
Well, that's not what it's getting from me for a rating.
The San Diego beer community has more homers than the Padres do. Oh. Anyway, so that was Carpe Noctem. So general consensus seems like it was I
don't know if I want to even finish it.
It was ashy. That was the predominant thing that I got from it was ashiness.
Ashy, bitter, disgusting.
I'm not sure where the maple went in there. I couldn't really find it. The cocoa, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Pull up my original Untapped review.
Well, I saw your comment to somebody else that said the beer was still a mess.
He told
Matthew M. from North Park. He drank it in North Park.
Like
This beer is still a mess. And Joel, you said, dang, I still have a can that I cast an eye askance each time I open the fridge.
And today was the day I stopped casting an eye askance and I brought it in.
Well, yikes. I really, really hope that this pales in comparison to the next two beers that we're about to drink.
Moving on to Traeblod, which I was super stoked when they began offering this for take home to Viking Club members because I thought it was super tasty. And then the third one that we'll get to a little shortly is the very first can release from Mikkeller San Diego of Beer Geek Maple Vanilla Shake, which is the same as the first one we just had in the first section when we did the batch 1, batch 2, except they added maple syrup to it. So it's a slight variation. The difference is it's got vanilla in it.
It's phenomenal.
And Sean's already had it, and
It's phenomenal.
I have already had it as well. Super
I have not.
good.
So I'm a
Crapper 007.
I'm a BG Maple Vanilla Shake virgin.
Now,
Not for long.
Traeblod
We'll take care of that
is
for you.
pretty straight. Is pretty straightforward on the maple syrup. It's a lot. I will say that it's full 2 or 3 steps lower in the sweetness category from everything else we've already had.
Yeah.
You get the
even
maple syrup sweetness, but it's
even
not.
this Carpe Noctem, because this Carpe Noctem tastes like just bitterness to me.
Yeah, so bitter. You can hear the sounds. It sounds like we're in like a cave with strange like drums in the deep coming up. It's actually my cool new microphone arms that are metal reverberating through the table. It's a cool sound effect.
Carpe diem, that's for sure.
Carpe noctem. Oh yeah. Or like, what's the Latin word for sink? Carpe sink.
Drink pour. Sorry for anybody who was involved in creating that beer.
Yeah, both great breweries. Don't get me wrong. Pure Project and Abnormal both.
Sometimes one good thing plus another good thing does not equal a good thing.
Two lefts don't make a right. Yeah, sometimes you never know. Hey, and you know what? While we're on the subject, isn't Pure Project doing another stout can release collaboration with someone famous?
I'm out. The Bottle Logic?
The Bottle Logic one, yes.
With the Ghost Peppers?
Yes.
Or was it Carolina Reapers or Ghost Peppers?
It's Carolina Reapers, yeah. Hey, I'll try it. Someone buy me a can. And I'll try it.
No, thank you.
Yeah, the Carpe Noctem, I mean, like, okay. It was disappointing. Yeah, go for it. 007's going to open it. Open up the maple vanilla shake. Listen to that dulcet sound of that can cracking. Ah, it's so good. It's so hard for me to do it at home when I'm at home and the wife is like right around the corner and she's like, "You opening another beer?" And I'm like, "No, yes." The other thing about Carpe Noctem, the only thing that was kind of like to me took it down a notch further than I would have all ordinarily been like, about it, was the fact that it was like $16 for one can. That
really?
Yeah. Then I was like, okay, it should have been a lot better.
Well, isn't that what Pure Project's kind of known for? Is their marketing?
Well, I mean, they do a great job at marketing. Both of those guys, Abnormal and Pure Project, do insanely great with their marketing.
Yeah, but Abnormal also does a great job with their beer.
Well, I mean,
consistently.
Okay, yeah.
Pure Project they've had some outstanding beers that I've tasted, but they're kind of hit and miss, but do
their
really
can
great
art
job on their
is
marketing.
so dope. They had the can that looks like the Matrix code. They had that can that looks like a pelt of like leopard fur. They have a can that looks like a wooden tree trunk. Yeah. Killer can art, killer designs.
Oh, I'm so excited to see what you say about this beer.
Sean is stoked because for Craft Beer 007's inaugural pour.
Oh, wow. Super balanced. Yeah, that's what a maple beer should be.
The final description that I settled on was a Peterson's Maple Donut Bar, followed by a swig of coffee.
Ooh,
it's so good.
I could sign up for that.
So good. A couple of non-beer drinker friends of friends of ours that do drink beer but are not like enthusiastic, complete nerds about it, have tasted this beer and stopped dead in their tracks when they had it, and they were like, "This is so good. It's so delicious."
Yeah, my friend Jake, last week when we did a nice 11-hour smoke of some brisket, got to taste this for dessert, and when he drank it, he had just finished this long rant about craft beer and comparing it to sushi, where he's like, "Well, I know when it's bad, but I can't really tell when it's good." And then he drank this and he was like, "Well, that went out the window. This is the absolute most tasty beer I've ever had in my life. This stands head and shoulders above all the other craft beer I've had," which, for those of us who actually drink craft beer, are kind of like, well, in the style and whatever and all that. But to him, this was his favorite thing that's ever touched his lips.
Oh, yeah.
Said he even liked it more than his girlfriend.
Oh, geez. She wasn't with us, I don't think, right? I don't remember. So yeah, these were the maple entries tonight, coming hot and fast on the heels of the regular, of the vanilla shakes, the ones without other adjuncts.
Really It's really interesting tasting the Trey Blood and the maple vanilla shake next to each other. I don't know if you've taken sips one after another.
I have, and it's a better side by side than with the Carpe Noctem. That's for sure.
Insult to injury, a moth just landed in my Carpe Noctem taster glass.
Well, at least it knew which one to go for, right? Like,
yeah. He's like, I'm going to kill myself in the most miserable way possible. I'm not going to drown myself in something tasty.
Ouch. One thing that we love about small portion is that you can always count on a open, honest, and direct.
That's true.
Perspective
assessment. Yeah. I had a fly take a bath in my taster of Stronger Than Fiction while I was up at Bottle Logic the other day.
He just had good taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was still alive, so it didn't kill him. He went in my mouth, but
that fly knew what he was doing.
This is a moth.
Yeah. This was a moth. That fly probably was refined. Probably a beer nerd in himself. He probably lives at Bottle Logic just to jump into this barrel aged.
It makes sense though. Yeah, if it was a fly that lived at Bottle Logic, he would be have really high standards, or at least be completely always buzzing on a sugar from all those pastry stouts.
So another break as we get prepared for the BA stuff.
Yeah. So what's next? What's the finale here?
Let's see. These two nice 750 milliliters of the vanilla shake. These are the batch 1 vanilla shakes. So
San Diego. Releases.
The San Diego releases of them. But one is the vanilla shake aged in bourbon barrels, and the other is aged in rum.
Oh yeah, we'll be right back.
For this bourbon barrel aged,
we are rolling again.
And rum barrel aged vanilla shakes.
All right, we're back, and it's time for barrel aged vanilla shakes.
Vanilla shake.
So, so Mikkeller, San Diego. Sean, I'll let you do the honors of opening these, and you pick whichever one you want to open first.
The rum or the bourbon.
Bourbon. Well, I mean, it's up to you.
The rum.
I think the rum
is supposed to be better. Rum. Also, do bourbon.
The rum's supposed to be better.
Rum. They opened in April 2016, and certain friends of ours were expecting them to have these bourbon barrel aged vanilla shakes for sale inside of the first 12 months that they were open, but they didn't have that. That didn't happen. They ended up putting them on sale a couple months later.
Wasn't there some insinuation though for people who to join the Viking Club? Wasn't there some insinuation about that?
I don't know that there was a direct reference to that, but it would have made sense. There was never a promise made. There was never here's all the beers you're going to get, and one of them's going to be this one.
Sure.
It was, you're going to find out. It's going to be, God knows what it's going to be and that's basically what it was. It was
but it's going to be great.
Going to be so great. I mean, to this day, I'm in the Berserker Club, and I have no clue what I'm getting for the Berserkers. Not a clue.
I don't remember what's so special about it. I remember
you get a
you
hoodie.
sent me a picture of a Pappy barrel being filled.
That was right after they opened. So that, as yet, we still don't know what that turned into or has been turned into, if anything.
Probably nothing.
So this was definitely their most popular release that they've yet done since being open, and because they brewed this and filled these barrels pretty early on and aged them, for about a year. And the coffee that they used in these, fun fact, is from Mostra, because Mostra Mike gets his
that place sucks.
Gets his coffee beans in everybody's business. So good. You know what? I might need a little tiny bit more. I might just need a little more. I've got my Mikkeller grand opening glass here, and it just
smells really tasty.
Looks like it needs a little more. So this is the bourbon barrel aged. And the label is, you can't really see it because this is an audio only version podcast right now, but it's like basically a cat angrily pouring a bottle into like a latte glass with a swizzle stick with like a little swizzle stick sticking out of it, and a guy that looks like he's completely aghast with this happening. Well, it's definitely helpful to have the base beer earlier, because this is clearly the product of barrel aging. I mean, it has a lot of wood, a lot of barrel wood flavor, a lot of bourbon.
Yeah, a lot of bourbon, a lot of vanilla, a lot of that. This one, and it could have to do with just the fact that the base beer was so incredibly sweet, but this one pushed it a little over the sweetness edge for me, and I actually don't like it as much as the non-barrel aged version.
Really? Wow.
That's just my personal opinion, but the vanilla and the coffee is still pretty freaking tasty. But
I don't know, man. It tastes pretty good. It's like a Viking longship that's been like properly like lacquered up for water tightness.
driven through
the
La Brea tar pits.
Yeah, through the La Brea tar pits, yes.
Picked up maybe a dinosaur along the way.
Coasting over to Vinland. It's really tasty. I like it a lot.
It's really good, yeah.
It's extraordinarily tasty.
The whiskey is present, the barrel is present, the vanilla is present.
It's everything I wanted. It's just that the base beer was so good by itself.
Everything's there. It's just not maybe all like singing in unison like a barbershop quartet. It's more like a unrehearsed church choir or something.
Yeah, no, it's more like a barbershop quartet with a countertenor instead of a tenor.
Going back to my comment about 13% non-BA beer, this is a BA beer and it's 13%.
And it tastes way more like it tastes like it's ABV. It doesn't have. It's not really fusel to me. Not that much. It's like it's got a little more coffee. It's got maybe a little more distinctive on the coffee finish, but probably brought out by the bourbon. But it seems like it has more a little more oomph, a little more body.
Oh, absolutely. And it has. I mean, the oak. I really, really get a lot of barrel character out of this beer.
The danger with that the base beer is like it's just marshmallow delicious. It's like here's hey kids, you want to try some of this? Here you go, have some. You know, you guys making s'mores. Here, try this. Daddy's all done with this can. You still got 8 ounces left. Here you go.
Now let's throw those s'mores into a bourbon barrel and soak them in whiskey.
Yeah, Daddy's keeping this one to himself. This one's all for Daddy.
This one's Daddy's beer.
Stoking the fire in his study.
But
putting on old episodes of Matlock. Gonna sip this in from a decanter. And this one comes in a 750 milliliter bottle, which is
absurd.
24 point whatever. How many ounces do we find out that is? 25.
It's 25 and a half.
There you go. So in the end, it's only 9 ounces more than what comes in a can, but it's the same ABV. But I bet you the tannins are a little more substantial. Oh yeah.
Yeah, by a long shot.
Why are you talking like that?
I always talk like this, don't you?
I guess I hadn't noticed.
You sound a little disturbing.
Well,
I'll say. That's what a couple
after
beers.
You've had enough beers.
Yeah, that's what a couple beers will do to you. Start lapsing into your Hannibal Lecter voice.
It's what 13% non-barrel aged beers will do to you.
Hey, Trey Blood was only 11%.
Okay.
Lightweight.
13%.
Double digits. They're all double digits, yeah.
I guess I'm just weak. Time to go to the rum.
I'm ready for rum.
Mike, will you do the honors?
Absolutely.
We went into the boonies of Tennessee, and now we're sailing the high seas of the Caribbean.
Yeah, everybody that I know that has had both of them has indicated that rum is
superior. Yeah. I will say I've had these on tap, but not from the bottle.
How were they on tap?
Delicious. I like the rum, and it was unlimited pours. As I recall, Sean, actually you were originally slated to have joined me at that event, and then you never came.
With unlimited pours, do you actually recall?
I do. Well, I don't remember how many pours I had. But I do remember that the bourbon, I think, kicked first, and the rum was still going.
Well, the
so I kept going.
On paper. On paper, when you add vanilla and vanilla, it should equal more vanilla.
Pretty much. Well, right. Part of me wonders if they've done any other versions of this. I know they're barrel aging lots of other interesting things. I know they're barrel aging Wee Sticky Icky, which I am very excited to see where that one goes. That was their collaboration with Bottle Logic. Basically, it was modeled after the recipe for sticky buns.
Wee Sticky Icky was sticky and not icky.
At first taste, I definitely I like the rum. I agree with that.
I feel it's significantly superior to the bourbon barrel aged.
The best rum barrel aged beer that you've ever had. Go.
Ooh.
I know you keep a list of these beers ready at all times in your mind. Man. Like you just know off the top of your head.
I'm trying to remember all the rum barrel aged.
It's so many. It's just a.
Yes, for your favorite rum barrel aged beer?
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's like asking, like, what's your favorite member of Hanson? It's just not possible to answer.
Oh man.
I'll go ahead and say I'll volunteer first and to go first, and it's Pirate Bomb.
Oh,
Prairie Pirate Bomb. That beer probably ruined my experience with the whole line of bomb beers because somehow I made it through my life and never had any of those other bombs. I had Pirate Bomb first, and then I had all the other ones, and I was like, why are all these bomb beers not as good as Pirate Bomb? And it turns out Pirate Bomb is freaking world class, and it's one of the tastiest things of all time.
So
that's my personal favorite rum barrel aged beer.
I have not had nearly enough rum barrel aged beers, but I would have to say that this one is pretty up there. Pirate Bomb's pretty up there. Actually, the biggest standout I have, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head because it was a barrel number at like 1275 or something, some kind of crap like that, was one of the rum barrel aged beers that we actually shared at Lost Abbey's Barrel Night. Was probably the most standout one, and it was the original. It was during the release. I think it was a Veritas 16.
Okay.
That barrel night that we went to. Yep. So what was that? 2015.
Yep, 2015.
But I just remember having that, and it was paired with some sort of seafood. I think it was some sort of kind of seafood that was, and I just remembered that pairing and that beer at that time was incredibly special. Granted, Lost Abbey's Barrel Night, they always do next level pairings, and how they put together the entire night. I mean, it's worth that $200 ticket without the Veritas themselves, and you throw those in, it's worth it even more.
So I'm going back in time.
I actually have it.
You found it. You found it already. You beat me. Wow.
Yes,
okay. All right.
It looks like it's barrel 1816. And it was paired with a Spanish seafood salad.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Dude, good memory. And thank you, Untapped, for being our ever-present beer journal that we can always rely on.
Well, this was Instagram.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Instagram, as well, for all of that.
That was pretty special.
And
Holy crap. That was tequila.
It was tequila barrel aged.
Dang it.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count. Barrel 1816 Piña. Oh, yeah, Piña. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was...
Lost Abbey. It was a sour ale. Oh, yeah. It was 13.5%. Oh, son of a bun. So that was was that like an Agave Maria spin-off beer or variant or something like that, or component beer? I don't remember.
I really don't remember. I could have sworn that was rum in my memory.
In your memory, tequila and rum are being mixed together, and that might be the reason why your memory can't remember whether or not it was tequila or rum, because tequila and rum combined would be a deadly combination. Huh?
The beer that I rememred was
Sean misremembered the beer that he was thinking was the best rum barrel beers. It was a tequila barrel.
I have not had many tequila barrel beers that are my favorites.
I've only had a few like tequila barrel beers.
Yeah, Sean gave it a 4.75. Said, "Damn, so smooth, not overly boozy. Hard to believe that it's 13.5%."
For the rum?
For the tequila barrel aged barrel 1816.
The one that I thought was a rum.
Are we back on the air?
We are back. We're back. Having determined successfully that Sean did not remember. I said unique, mild exotic fruit layered with woody barrel character and fusel agave alcohol notes. Boy, wow, my vocabulary back in a couple years ago. Crazy how far I've come.
Wasn't that the night that we figured out what fusel meant?
It might have been, because Gwen was there and she was going around like going table to table talking to us, which pro tip, by the way, if you ever go to barrel night, they lay it out inside the brewery with like all these cool tables, like with tablecloths and place settings and all this stuff, and they're all different types and sizes of tables, but we found one that was a 4-top for the two of us, and then we were joined by a single guy, and then someone else borrowed our last chair, so we wound up with a 3-top, and we were being served full pour carafes of everything, so it was like on a per capita beer basis, it was definitely a winning situation.
So I figured out what my real favorite rum barrel aged was, thanks to the magic of Untapped.
All right, drum roll.
It was Monsters Park Nicaraguan rum barrel with cinnamon cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, and chilies, Mexican chocolate edition.
Oh, that's the is that the most recent one?
Let's see.
They've done that one twice, and the first time it was infected.
Well, the first time I had it was October 26, 2016.
I think that's the second go round.
And because you're right, the first time it was infected, and I remember, I believe, if my failing memory from drinking isn't failing me, like on that barrel night.
Take another sip of the rum vanilla shake. It'll help.
Okay.
The both of these beers are warming up really nicely, by the way.
Yes, they are. But the original rum barrel aged, I drank with Nick, and we popped an infected bottle of it, and it smelled like one of my daughter's poopy diapers,
which you didn't yet have, so you didn't have a reference point for that.
Yet, but now that I have a reference point from it, it was a very, very distinct.
So every time you change one of their diapers, you are mentally teleported back to that moment when you and Nick were having that infected beer, basically.
Oh man, it was holy crap. That was a different sort of off flavor that I had ever smelled in my life.
I wonder if there's like a form of PTSD, but it's like, post-traumatic beer tasting bad beer trip disorder.
PTSD.
Funny thing that you mentioned that, because as I search rum on my Untapped list, my favorite top, other than the one we just had, was Monsters Park Barbados rum barrel with vanilla beans and coconut.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that was good.
That was top.
That was a good one.
But when you search rum, what also comes up is the Dunkelweizen from Stone, called
Rumvernugen,
which was one of my lowest scores on Untapped, which is between all the guys in Tuesday Night Beer Society is a running joke and jab at Regan Vodka, who is us brewer at Stone, but
he
know what
provided
you guys
us.
are
he
talking about.
lovingly brought that beer
Yeah.
to a share one night.
He gave us that experience. He served it up to us. Without him, we wouldn't have ever had rum vernugan. We wouldn't even know. I think we're all better off having having experienced it.
I don't know what you're talking
It's
about.
like
That
burning
beer
your
was
hand.
straight fire.
It's like when you're a kid and you burn your hand on something for the first time. You're like, "Do not touch." Like, then you learn you're better off because you know don't mess with that. It's just bad. It'll mess you
It's
up.
been described as from members of the Tuesday Night Beer Society as something you would use to remove wallpaper.
Yeah. I truly believe it has that. It actually is a practical use of that beer.
Something you would use to
Maybe as a chloroform substitute.
or if you wanted to degrease an engine,
Degrease an engine, yeah.
that would work.
Or maybe deflesh a bone.
Yeah. I would say if you have if you were the chef at a disgruntled chef at a restaurant and you just wanted all of the patrons to leave, if you just dumped some of it in a pan and started boiling it and just filling the air with rum vernugan smoke, people would get out
Run
fast.
for the hills.
And
Yeah.
then you would die.
And you would go to the hospital for carcinogen inhalations. Rum vernugan, yes.
Thanks, Regan. We love you.
Thanks, Regan. Yeah. My favorite new colloquial expression for something that tastes really bad is garbage fire. I love that. That beer was a garbage fire. Full on. Like it wasn't a dumpster fire. It wasn't even a garbage fire. It was a landfill bonfire is what it was.
But Alan B. Wells loved it, though. Not.
Yeah.
What was his
I think-
description of it?
Well, he on an ongoing basis, he has the most hate and
Well, you remember when we were there when he looked up his family history on Ancestry.com, and he's 1/8 troll going back. Turns out.
he lived in St. Louis for a few years too, so that helped him with those skills.
Become financially stable with all those side project markups,
Oh.
trade value.
By the way, I have chosen rum as my favorite of these two. By the way, if I was not that anyone was holding me at gunpoint telling me which one.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah,
there's
Vanilla
no
shake.
comparison.
rum barrel aged is the bomb.
It's
Thank
much,
you, Sean,
it's,
for
yeah,
providing all these.
it's much more understated
most of
than
these
the
beers
than the
tonight.
bourbon.
I would have to say overall my favorite is still the maple vanilla shake.
Here, here.
I don't know if you guys disagree.
I think I rated them equal. So, I mean, two different categories, but both delicious, and I would be happy drinking both of them for a very long
yeah.
time.
I think I would have to be in a slightly different mood for the maple versus the rum. The rum seems like the maple seems a little more decadent.
It's
Oddly
extraordinarily,
enough,
it's
than the rum.
extraordinarily decadent. It's
For sure, breakfast beer.
Oh yeah,
oh, yeah.
dump it over a short stack, and just
Just dump it all over
yeah,
my
just
body.
tuck into that.
Now you're just getting creepy.
I will bathe in that beer.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for Sean. Thanks for having us over and letting us drink all of your shakes.
I still have 11 more cans of the maple and the vanilla shake.
So
Ooh,
you better share those with your wife, and
That is why
Enjoy
I have
them.
11 more cans of each.
of each. Wow.
Of
Okay.
each.
Yeah. All right. Good. You're stocked up. You're good to go. This will be a fun experiment. Once a month, every month, you can open one, and then and keep a very scientific journal with all of the tasting notes and everything, and then you can pH test the viscosity of the meniscus and all of those scientific words that I
Of
know.
the meniscus?
Yes.
Isn't that a
A knee injury
a
word.
knee?
Yes.
it's a
Part of your
component in your knee. Other than that,
Other than that, yeah. Thanks for being on, and Who knows what'll happen next time on the next episode, the next time we pop a whole bunch of beers. But in the meantime, don't be a stranger. Thanks for being on, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Cheers.
Cheers.